Most people think the words they speak are just sound, harmless, fleeting. But what if I told you that every time you say "I am," you're not reporting your life, you're programming reality? I am tired. I am broke. I am unlucky. These phrases look innocent, but in the quantum field, they are frequency codes, declarations that the universe must obey. And here's the paradox. The more you repeat them, the more evidence reality provides to prove you right. Think about it. You've probably said "I am stressed" so many times that your body already knows how to play that role. Shoulders tighten, breath shortens, opportunities shrink. But what if the opposite were true? What if simply shifting the phrase could shift the entire field around you? What if "I am tired" became "I am restoring," and suddenly life rearranged itself to match that frequency? Sounds unbelievable, yet science and lived experience prove otherwise. This isn't about positive thinking or reciting empty mantras. It's about identity. The words "I am" collapse waves of possibility into matter, just like the observer effect in quantum physics. And once you understand that, the game changes. Because you stop begging reality to change, and instead you declare the vibration you choose to live in. The secret is not hidden in the future. It's encoded in the words you're speaking right now. So let me ask you, how many times have you been unknowingly scripting scarcity, limitation, or fear into your life? And what could happen if, starting today, you picked up the quantum pen and wrote a new story with "I am"? Most people live as if on autopilot, repeating words that shape their identity without even realizing it. Every morning, someone wakes up and sighs, "I am tired." Or when bills arrive, "I am broke." These phrases might feel like harmless comments, but in the quantum field, they are not just words, they are frequency commands. Each "I am" acts like a declaration, a vibration sent into the universe, telling it exactly how to mirror reality back. And the field, coherent as it is, doesn't argue, it responds. In 2 minutes, I'll show you how even a subtle phrase can lock someone into a loop of limitation. Think about how often people unconsciously declare their identity. At work, someone misses a deadline and mutters, "I am terrible at this." In relationships, another person sighs, "I am unlucky in love." These declarations, repeated daily, become embodied truths. The subconscious doesn't filter sarcasm or exaggeration. It simply absorbs the repetition and codes it as identity. And once identity is shaped, reality bends around it. The observer is always creating, and through observation, the self aligns with the vibration it keeps affirming. I remember a season in my own life when I kept saying, "I am unlucky." It started as a joke after small things went wrong. Missed buses, broken phones, rejections. But months later, I noticed a strange pattern. More and more situations kept validating this unlucky identity. My wallet got stolen, my car broke down, friendships ended suddenly. At the time, I thought reality was punishing me. Now I see the quantum field was simply reflecting the declaration I had embodied. It wasn't fate, it was resonance. This is the hidden power of language. Every "I am" is like pressing an enter key, sending a command line into the subconscious. The brain, like software, runs the program without questioning its origin. Neurologically, repetition builds neural pathways. The more a phrase is spoken, the stronger the circuit becomes. Imagine telling a child every day, "You are brilliant." Over time, the child carries that identity, acting from it. The opposite is equally true when someone keeps saying, "I am not enough." That frequency of lack builds coherence in the wrong direction. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to who you declare you are. Saying, "I want abundance," while constantly repeating "I am broke," creates a contradiction in resonance. The vibration of lack is louder than the intention of desire. Reality aligns with frequency, not wishful thinking. That's why the unconscious use of "I am" keeps so many trapped in cycles of scarcity, fear, and limitation. They think they're reporting the news of their lives, but in truth, they're programming their own future. To make this real, imagine someone who keeps saying, "I'm anxious." Their body begins to embody that vibration, shallow breathing, tense shoulders, rapid heartbeat. Soon, their environment reflects it. They attract stressful jobs, difficult conversations, restless nights. But when the phrase shifts to something like "I am processing," the energy changes. Suddenly, anxiety is not identity. It's an experience passing through. The declaration opens the door for the field to send coherence instead of chaos. The difference is subtle yet radical. What's fascinating is that this process happens whether or not we believe it. The subconscious mind doesn't analyze, it obeys. If you repeat, "I am lonely," your nervous system takes it as fact, and the observer role you play begins to filter out signs of connection. You might ignore invitations or push people away simply because your identity is aligned with loneliness. The vibration you embody becomes the only lens through which the universe interacts with you. That's why awareness of "I am" is not optional, it's foundational. So, here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't choosing their "I am" at all. They're recycling hand-me-down declarations from parents, teachers, society. "I'm not smart enough. I'm just average. I'm unlucky." Each repetition strengthens the loop until it feels impossible to break. But the moment you realize that "I am" is not a report, but a command, the script changes. And in just a moment, I'll show you how this tiny shift can place a quantum pen in your hands, letting you write reality itself. Every day, you hold an invisible pen in your hands, even if you don't realize it. This pen is not made of ink or paper, but of words and vibration. Each time you say "I am," you sign a contract with the quantum field, authorizing reality to mirror that declaration. If you write "I am powerless," the universe will provide evidence of weakness. If you write "I am capable," the field aligns with that frequency, sending opportunities that affirm it. In 2 minutes, I'll show you how even changing one word can change the entire page of your story. Think about the difference between "I am anxious" and "I am processing." The first phrase freezes identity and fear. The second allows space for movement and growth. One closes the door, the other leaves it open for transformation. Language is more than description. It's navigation. Just as a GPS can't guide you until you enter a destination, the universe can't guide you until you declare who you are. Every "I am" typed into the system sets the coordinates for where your reality heads next. Here's something I learned the hard way. I once kept repeating, "I am overwhelmed." The more I said it, the more tasks piled up, the more chaos I attracted. But when I shifted the declaration to "I am organizing," something shifted. My brain began to focus differently. Suddenly, emails got answered, projects aligned, and even my energy rose. Nothing magical happened in the external world. The magic was in the alignment of frequency and identity. The declaration changed the resonance, and the field responded. Science backs this up. Joe Dispenza teaches how language and emotion shape neuroplasticity, rewiring the brain. Bruce Lipton shows that belief systems encoded in the subconscious dictate how cells respond. When you repeat "I am" with conviction, you're programming not just the mind, but the body itself. This is embodiment at its core. The vibration of a phrase literally becomes biology. Your heart rate, your breath, even your posture begin to mirror the declaration. The observer role you play transforms your own nervous system. Imagine someone saying, "I am exhausted." Their energy drops instantly. Shoulders slump, frequency lowers, and the field offers situations that reinforce that exhaustion. Endless work, draining conversations, lack of rest. Now, picture the same person shifting to "I am restoring." The body straightens, the subconscious aligns with recovery, and suddenly moments of rest appear. a cancelled meeting, a quiet evening, unexpected help. The declaration acts as a key, opening doors that were previously invisible. The subconscious doesn't care if you call it science or spirituality. It obeys the repetition of words with unwavering loyalty. That's why I often call language a contract. Once signed, reality is legally bound to honor it. The challenge is that most people sign unconsciously. They keep affirming lack, stress, and fear without realizing they're writing a story they don't want to live. But once you become intentional, the pen shifts from accidental scribbles to deliberate authorship. Here's a practice you can try tonight. Before bed, write down 3 I am declarations on paper, not about who you were today, but about who you want to embody tomorrow. For example, I am clarity, I am abundance, I am peace. Read them aloud, slowly, feeling the vibration of each word in your chest. Your subconscious will hold on to them during sleep, and when you wake up, your frequency will already be aligned with the new script. Observation turns into embodiment. And here's the subtle twist. The field is always listening, even when you whisper. The universe doesn't need volume, only coherence. That's why being intentional with I am is not about shouting affirmations, but about alignment. The more your energy and words harmonize, the more the quantum field bends in response. And just like that, every day you are writing contracts that will define your future chapters. But have you ever wondered what happens when your frequency resonates so strongly that it sets the entire universe humming back at you? Imagine 2 tuning forks placed side by side. When one is struck, the other begins to vibrate, even though it hasn't been touched. This is resonance, and the universe operates in the same way. Each I am is like striking your own tuning fork. The vibration travels outward, and the quantum field, like the second fork, cannot help but respond. Reality is not random. It is an echo chamber of the frequencies you embody. And in just a moment, I'll show you how a single phrase can shift everything you attract. When you declare, I am enough, the resonance is clear and coherent. The field organizes itself to match that frequency, sending relationships, opportunities, and experiences that validate your sufficiency. But when you whisper, I am not enough, the vibration weakens, and the echo that returns is lack. The observer role you play becomes the conductor of a symphony, and every note you strike sends the universe into harmony or dissonance. The choice of vibration belongs entirely to you. I experienced this personally during a period when I constantly declared, I am stuck. That simple phrase kept me vibrating in limitation. No matter what I tried, opportunities seemed blocked, doors remained closed, and every effort felt heavy. Then I began experimenting with a new declaration, I am moving forward. The shift was almost immediate. Ideas came more easily, small wins started piling up, and even unexpected help appeared. The field wasn't punishing me before, it was simply mirroring my resonance. Think of it like a radio dial. If you tune into a frequency of fear, all you hear is static. Tune into a frequency of coherence, and suddenly the music comes alive. The subconscious acts like the tuner, locking onto whichever signal you repeat most. That's why affirmations are not about wishful thinking, they are about frequency alignment. Each I am calibrates the dial of your nervous system, guiding your reality to match the station you've chosen. The science of resonance backs this up. Studies on heart coherence show that when the heart and brain align in frequency, the entire body vibrates in harmony. Similarly, when your words and emotions align in a declaration, the quantum field resonates in response. The observer's role is not passive, it is vibrational leadership. Every I am sets a tone that either strengthens or scatters your coherence. And coherence is what determines whether reality feels like chaos or clarity. Here's a simple example. Say someone repeats daily, I am broke. Undale, that frequency creates tension in the body, scarcity in the subconscious, and the field returns bills, debts, and stress to validate it. But shift to, I am learning abundance, and the vibration softens. The universe doesn't need perfection. It responds to direction. Even small adjustments in declaration recalibrate the resonance, inviting opportunities instead of closing them off. It's not about forcing, but about harmonizing. You've probably noticed how some people light up a room without saying a word. That's resonance in action. Their I am is coherent with confidence, peace, or abundance, and everyone feels it. The opposite is also true. Someone declaring I am invisible often moves through life unnoticed because that's the vibration they're broadcasting. The field is neutral. It mirrors whatever signal you project. The only question is, which tuning fork are you striking? And this is where the real power of I am begins to unfold. Once you understand resonance, you can intentionally set frequencies that the universe cannot ignore. But the question is, how do you take this awareness and actually reprogram your subconscious so it works for you instead of against you? That's exactly what we'll step into next. Knowing that every I am shapes identity is powerful, but knowledge alone doesn't shift reality. Practice does. Reprogramming begins with replacing negative declarations with neutral ones and then gradually expanding into empowering statements. If you wake up saying, I'm tired, shift it to I'm restoring. As energy builds, expand further. I am energized. This step-by-step approach eases resistance in the subconscious. In 2 minutes, I'll show you a morning ritual that rewires your vibration before the day even begins. The subconscious mind is stubborn, like wet cement. Once it hardens with repetition, change feels impossible. But here's the secret. The subconscious loves rhythm and consistency. That's why small, repetitive shifts have more impact than occasional big declarations. Imagine brushing your teeth. You don't do it once a month and expect results. The same goes for I am. 5 minutes a day of intentional alignment can reprogram years of unconscious loops. Here's a simple practice. Stand in front of a mirror each morning. Look into your own eyes and repeat a chosen declaration. Start neutral if resistance is strong. Instead of I am abundant, try I am learning abundance. Instead of I am confident, say I am practicing confidence. This reduces internal friction while still directing the subconscious toward new coherence. Over time, repetition dissolves the old code and writes a new one into your nervous system. When I began this ritual, I noticed resistance at first. My brain whispered, "You're lying," but I stayed with it, even laughing at the discomfort. After a few weeks, something clicked. I looked into the mirror and for the first time believed, I am capable. That shift created immediate micro-shifts in my life. I spoke up in meetings, set boundaries in relationships, and attracted new opportunities. The field didn't change overnight. I did. And the universe responded to that embodiment. Practical tip: anchor the ritual with breath. Take a slow inhale as you say, I am, and exhale as you complete the declaration. This marries language with physiology, embedding coherence into the body. Over time, the nervous system begins to expect these statements as truth. The observer role you play stops being passive. It becomes embodied alignment. Breath, voice, and focus combine to program the subconscious like a song on repeat. Think of it like planting seeds. A farmer doesn't expect a harvest after one day. They water, nurture, and trust the process. Your declarations are those seeds. Even if doubt clouds the early stages, consistency builds momentum. And as the subconscious begins to align, the field mirrors back evidence that strengthens the new identity. The feedback loop reinforces itself, and suddenly what once felt fake becomes natural. Here's an example you can apply tonight. Before bed, write 3 new I am statements that feel slightly beyond your current identity. Read them aloud slowly, not as demands, but as gentle invitations. Feel the vibration of each word in your chest, as if the frequency is already alive within you. This practice programs the subconscious during sleep, when resistance is lowest. The field receives those vibrations like new coordinates, and here's where the real depth lies. Once you learn to reprogram consciously, you realize language is not just communication, it's creation. But how can science explain this mysterious link between words, brain, and quantum field? That's the piece we're about to uncover next. It's easy to dismiss I am as positive thinking, but science offers strong evidence that words and vibration reshape reality. The HeartMath Institute, for example, has shown that when the heart and brain achieve coherence, the body's frequency stabilizes, producing measurable changes in energy. This coherence is like tuning your inner instruments. Once aligned, the resonance extends outward into the quantum field. Your declarations are not floating thoughts. They are biological frequencies that shape how reality responds. And in 2 minutes, I'll show you a simple experiment that proves it. David Bohm, a physicist, once explained that language doesn't just describe thought, it molds it. And thought molds reality. When you repeat I am statements, you're not just making noise, you're directing your consciousness, shaping neural patterns and influencing the field of possibilities. This is where the observer effect enters. Just as the famous double-slit experiment revealed that observation changes the outcome, your identity as the observer alters the flow of reality itself. I am is the act of observing who you are becoming. Think of how athletes use this principle. Before competitions, they don't say, I am weak, or I am nervous. They repeat, I am ready, I am strong, I am focused. This isn't superstition, it's neuroplasticity in action. The brain wires itself according to repeated commands, and the body follows suit. The subconscious accepts the declaration as identity, and the quantum field aligns with that coherence. Manifestation in this sense is simply biology meeting physics in harmony. A personal example, years ago I kept saying, I am terrible with money. That declaration shaped not only my subconscious but also my decisions. I ignored opportunities, avoided investments, and sabotaged financial growth. But when I shifted to, I am learning financial wisdom, something remarkable happened. My nervous system calmed. I started reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and The Psychology of Money, and slowly abundance began appearing. The science. My brain was rewiring, and the field mirrored back the new resonance. The double-slit experiment gives us another layer of proof. When particles are observed, they collapse from waves of possibility into a defined outcome. The observer literally changes matter. Identity functions the same way. When you declare I am, you collapse possibilities into form, aligning reality with your observation. You're not passively existing in the universe. You're co-creating with it through resonance, coherence, and vibration. The declaration becomes a quantum command. Heart coherence experiments show that emotions tied to words amplify their effect. A cold statement like I am fine carries little energy, but I am grateful spoken with emotion sends a measurable frequency outward. Gratitude, love, and abundance create fields of coherence that ripple far beyond the body. Your words plus emotion equal energy in motion, literally the physics of manifestation. This is not philosophy, it's measurable science. Try a micro-experiment. For 1 week, replace I am stressed with I am restoring. Journal how your body feels and what situations arise. Most people notice that tension begins to dissolve and synchronicities appear. This isn't coincidence, it's resonance. The subconscious aligns, the nervous system shifts, and the field reflects the new coherence. By observing yourself differently, you alter the way reality observes you back. And here's the deeper question. If language can mold thought, biology, and even the field of reality, what happens when you start using I am with deliberate consistency? That's where feedback loops come into play, reinforcing your new identity until it becomes unshakable. Once you declare a new I am, the process doesn't end with words. It begins with action. Say someone affirms, "I'm confident." That declaration inspires them to sit taller, speak clearer, and take bolder steps. Those actions create results, maybe a new job offer, a stronger relationship, or an unexpected opportunity. And the moment those results show up, they reinforce the declaration, building a feedback loop. Identity shapes action, action shapes reality, and reality validates identity. In 2 minutes, I'll show you how to hack this cycle with micro shifts. This loop can work against you too. If you constantly say, "I am lost," your actions reflect hesitation and avoidance. Opportunities pass by because the self doesn't align with them. The lack of results then becomes proof that you are indeed lost. The subconscious accepts it as fact, and the cycle strengthens. But shift the declaration to, "I am realigning," and suddenly the narrative changes. The same uncertainty becomes a path of discovery rather than failure. The observer role reframes the vibration. A personal story. I once declared, "I am disciplined," even though my habits didn't fully reflect it. At first, it felt false, but I kept repeating it and started taking tiny aligned actions, waking up 10 minutes earlier, reading a few pages of a book instead of scrolling my phone. Each small success validated the declaration. Over time, my subconscious stopped resisting and embraced the new identity. The loop was no longer built on excuses. It was built on evidence. This is where micro-shifts become powerful. Instead of forcing massive change overnight, you implement subtle shifts that the subconscious can easily accept. For example, instead of "I am a millionaire," try "I am building abundance." That phrasing generates actions you can back up, saving $20, learning about investments, creating new streams of income. Each result, no matter how small, feeds the loop of identity. The field doesn't demand perfection, it responds to direction. Neuroscience calls this self-reinforcement. Each time you see evidence that aligns with your declaration, dopamine is released, wiring the brain to repeat the behavior. That's why identity-based affirmations are more powerful than goals. Saying, "I am a reader," naturally inspires you to pick up books, while saying, "I want to read," leaves the desire ungrounded. The subconscious craves coherence between identity, action, and environment. When they align, reality flows. Think about fitness as another example. If you repeat, "I am healthy," you'll likely choose better meals, move your body, and sleep more. Those actions generate physical results, which reinforce the statement. On the flip side, if you keep saying, "I am lazy," your actions will match, leading to results that confirm the identity. The feedback loop doesn't discriminate. It simply magnifies the declaration you embody. That's why conscious choice matters so much. The beauty of this loop is that it compounds. One aligned action leads to a result, which strengthens identity, which inspires bigger actions, creating even greater results. Over time, the loop becomes a self-sustaining engine. The quantum field reflects the coherence you've embodied, sending synchronicities and opportunities that accelerate the cycle. What once felt forced begins to feel effortless, because reality itself is cooperating with your vibration. And here's the exciting part. Once the loop is active, the external world begins to shift in ways that seem almost magical. New people appear, doors open, synchronicities unfold, as if the universe is dancing to your "I am." But what does it look like when the external reality truly begins to mirror back your declarations in undeniable ways? That's exactly where we're heading next. Once your internal declarations stabilize, the external world can't help but rearrange itself to match them. Say someone shifts from "I am scarcity" to "I am abundance." Suddenly, invitations appear out of nowhere. A friend offers lunch, a new project lands in their lap, or they receive a random gift. These synchronicities aren't coincidences. They're resonance. The quantum field mirrors the vibration of the observer, sending coherence back into reality. And in 2 minutes, I'll show you how to recognize the first signs that your field has shifted. It often begins subtly. You declare, "I am worthy," and someone unexpectedly compliments you. You affirm, "I am confident," and you receive an opportunity to present at work. External responses feel like nudges from the universe, testing if you'll embody what you've declared. The subconscious registers these moments as proof, and the feedback loop deepens. Reality starts to feel less like resistance and more like flow. The field is listening, and it speaks through events, people, and timing. I once shifted from saying, "I am ignored," to "I am seen." Within days, conversations changed. Strangers engaged with me, old friends reconnected, and my work started gaining more attention. It wasn't that the world suddenly discovered me, it was that my vibration aligned with visibility. The resonance between self and field altered the way reality interacted with me. This is why it feels like the universe dances to your rhythm once your declarations are coherent. Think of it like tuning into a new radio station. At first, the signal crackles, but as you fine-tune your "I am," the music comes in clear. The people, places, and opportunities that match that frequency start showing up consistently. When you say, "I am aligned," synchronicities multiply. The subconscious filters out noise and locks onto coherence, pulling experiences from the quantum field that validate your new identity. The observer becomes the magnet. Here's a practical example. Someone who repeats, "I am abundance," may suddenly notice discounts, gifts, or unexpected income. These external signs may look small, but they are evidence of resonance shifting. If you ignore them, the loop weakens. But if you celebrate them, the subconscious encodes abundance as truth, amplifying the vibration. The universe doesn't need grand gestures to confirm your alignment. It whispers first, then shouts. The beauty is that reality is neutral. It reflects back whatever you broadcast. If your declaration is fear, you attract fearful experiences. If your declaration is trust, opportunities unfold. The subconscious acts as a filter, deciding which signals from the quantum field reach your awareness. By consciously embodying new "I am" statements, you rewire what you notice, what you attract, and what you act upon. The field always delivers coherence. That's why paying attention is crucial. Journaling synchronicities, no matter how small, helps you build awareness of the field's responses. Write down when someone gives you an unexpected compliment, when money flows easily, or when opportunities align. These records anchor proof for the subconscious, showing that your declarations are working. The more you observe the evidence, the stronger the loop becomes. Observation fuels embodiment, and embodiment fuels creation. But there's an even deeper layer. When reality begins to mirror your declarations so strongly, you're no longer just aligning with abundance, peace, or worthiness. You start touching the God state, where identity and reality dissolve into one. And that's where we're heading next. The God state is not about ego or superiority. It's about dissolving the gap between identity and reality. It's the moment when "I am" is no longer a phrase you repeat, but a frequency you embody. In this state, you stop begging the universe for outcomes and start declaring them as extensions of who you already are. You don't say, "I want abundance." You say, "I am abundance." And reality responds because there is no longer separation. In 2 minutes, I'll show you a ritual that anchors this state into daily life. In the God state, the observer and the observed collapse into one. You are no longer standing outside of reality, hoping it shifts. You are the shift itself. This is coherence at its highest level, where self and universe vibrate as one continuous field. The subconscious no longer resists, because repetition has melted doubt. What once felt like effort becomes embodiment. The declaration turns into truth, not through force but through resonance. A powerful way to access this state is through breath and visualization. With each inhale, affirm silently, I am. With each exhale, complete the declaration, peace, abundance, clarity. Feel the vibration in your chest, as if the word itself is being coded into your DNA. Over time, this ritual bypasses the mind and programs the body. The nervous system, the subconscious, and the quantum field fall into alignment, creating a unified vibration that reality cannot ignore. I experienced this during a morning practice where I combined breathwork with the phrase, I am light. At first, it felt abstract, but as I breathed into the words, my body tingled, my heart expanded, and an overwhelming calm washed over me. That day, synchronicities unfolded effortlessly. Messages I'd been waiting for arrived, and opportunities aligned. The God state wasn't about control. It was about coherence so strong that reality harmonized without resistance. Another way to anchor this is through movement. Stand tall, place your hands over your chest, and declare, I am now. When your body and voice move together, the declaration bypasses thought and enters embodiment. The universe doesn't respond to empty words, it responds to vibration carried through the body. The God state is not a theory. It is felt, lived, breathed, and observed in every action. Identity and reality dissolve into resonance. This is why mystics and teachers across traditions echo the same truth. The divine name is I am. Not I was, or I will be, but I am. The present tense collapses time, merging self with eternity. When you declare in this way, you're not asking permission, you're stepping into authorship. The God state is the recognition that the observer is God in action, co-creating reality with each vibration. Here's a practice to try tonight. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and repeat, I am the portal. I am the command. I am now. Feel each phrase ripple through your body. Visualize your declarations radiating into the quantum field as light codes, embedding coherence into the fabric of reality. The ritual is simple, but its effects compound, drawing you deeper into the embodiment of your highest identity. And here lies the final twist. Once you learn to live in the God state, your declarations are no longer affirmations. They are creation itself. But the real question is, what will you do with that power once you realize you are not just part of the universe? You are the universe declaring itself through you. Every I am you speak is not a description, it's a creation. The quantum field is already responding to your vibration. So let me ask you, what declaration will you choose to embody from this moment on? Write your new I am in the comments. Let it be your first conscious step into alignment. And if this message shifted something inside you, hit the like button, subscribe, and activate the bell. That way, you'll keep tuning into more content that expands your frequency and anchors the God state into your daily reality.